Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and Agenda Setting Meeting for February 7th, 2023 is approximately 7:05 p.m. Could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Have a roll call, please.
Mayor Griesach.
Here.
Mr. Hizzy.
Here.
Mr. Poach.
Here.
Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
Mr. Wolfram.
Here.
Mr. Adams. Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Biondo.
Here.
Mr. Little.
Here.
Mr. Ratcher.
Here.
Ms. Rock.
Here.
Mr. Hugus.
Here.
Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here. Welcome. This is our Citizens Night meeting for the month of February. It's time for residents and taxpayers to address council on any municipal item. We ask that you keep your comments to a 5-minute time limit. We feel that's plenty of time for you to get your point across, and it keeps the meeting moving along, and it affords everyone enough time to speak. So if there's anyone that would like to address council on any municipal item, now would be your time to do so. If anyone has signed in already, you can come on up, or if you haven't signed in, you can choose to and sign in. There will also be a comment period before the Tuesday meeting, next Tuesday, our regular meeting. At the start of the meeting on Tuesday, it'll be for agenda items only on Tuesday. And then at the end of that same meeting, there will be another comment period for any municipal item. But now is your chance to address council for any municipal item if you see fit. Have you signed in yet, sir?
Yes, sir.
And if you could just state your name for the record and that you are a Monroeville resident.
My name's Glenn Schlereth. I live at 1554 Cabot Road.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. Floor's yours.
We have a petition. I've circulated among the residents of the Asbury Place homes. There's 22 lots there. We've got signatures from at least one person over 18 years of old from each of the residences except one. So there are 21 properties represented in this petition. What we want to do is basically we're saying we want the zoning that is currently assigned to our area, which is R2, to remain R2 and not to consider possibly changing the zoning law to include any commercial type of structure to be built and operated from. And that's basically simply all it is. I have a signed petition here, and we just want to.
If you could hand that in, and then we'll make sure it goes into the record. And the zoning ordinance is something that we have been working on as far as redoing. For Tuesday, there is a motion to advertise the public hearing for the updated zoning ordinance. So, which means that if that gets approved on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 14th, then we would have the public hearing for that item at the March meeting.
Oh, no, well, I'll explain it, we really won't
Yeah,
go
a little bit later.
Like he said, the April meeting. But it's going to take a little bit of time, it's not happening right now. May. It's going, yeah.
Right?
Does anyone want to say June? Can we keep going?
No, I think May only because I saw that in
Sure.
discussions.
Mr. Wielden, if you could maybe update us on the zoning, the time frame of what we're proposing here.
Well, we sent the draft down to the county. The county has 45 days to review it. So we will be able to have the meeting in April. If you want to, depending on public comments, it can get pushed back to June. I mean, there's no,
Certainly.
we can take as long as we want. We just can't do it before 45 days, that's all.
Very good. But the point I'm trying to make is that any kind of zoning change at this point for anything in the municipality isn't going to happen until all of these things happen. So it won't be till summertime, but we have this input here, and we'll make sure it gets into the record.
Okay,
There's no zoning changes for Cabot Road.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah, that's,
Nothing's
In the new ordinance.
Yeah, there's nothing proposed along those lines.
Okay. Would I need to attend for the 14th the 14th meeting?
No, we have
So,
your
you
concerns
have
and your
everything we
comments
need?
in the record. Absolutely, we have this petition in the record, but like Mr. Wielden said, it's not in the proposed ordinance whatsoever. So I don't know if there was maybe just some hearsay or some concern in your neighborhood, and
Yes, we had a concern, and we just wanted to address it up front.
you just did.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll leave the floor open for anyone like to address council on any municipal item. Seeing none, we're going to move on to our agenda-setting meeting. And I have an executive session announcement that council conducted an executive session before tonight's Citizens Night on Tuesday, February 7th, from 6:15 to approximately 7 p.m. for personnel and litigation reasons. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at the Tuesday, February 14th council meeting. Council, moving over to the minutes that we will be considering for Tuesday, the 14th. The Citizens Night meeting of January 3rd, 2023, the agenda-setting meeting of January 3rd, 2023, and the regular council meeting of January 10th, 2023. Any questions or comments? Changes or corrections, council? Seeing none. The report of the tax collections for the month. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. List of bills and budget transfers. Any questions or concerns, council? Hearing none. Moving on to the payroll report. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Moving on to our consent agenda. New business 23-1-SUB Headfirst Consolidation. Mr. Little.
Yeah, applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision to consolidate lot 642E315 and lot 642E335 into one lot, total acreage of 8.519. Property is located at 575 Thomas Street in the R2, one-family residential zoning district. Planning Commission recommends approval for this application.
Good evening. My name is Terry Seifers with Gen 3 Surveying. I'm the preparer of the plan and the registered surveyor. The reason for the consolidation was Mr. Headfirst purchased two lots, one with a house on it, one with an existing garage that was in ruin. He rebuilt the garage over the existing foundation, but at the same time, he had an accessory building on that lot with no principal structure. My task was to consolidate the lot with the house on it, which is shadowed in on the plan, and combine the two lots so that they have a principal structure and an accessory structure on the same lot.
Council, any questions? And Planning Commission does recommend approval. Mr. Wielden, anything from a staff perspective, any concerns?
No concerns.
Very good. We'll consider this on Tuesday.
Thank you
Great,
very much.
Thank you, sir. Next item, Mr. Little.
Okay, next item is the Gateway School District. Applicant is requesting site plan approval to construct a hard surface for the school band to practice on. Sidewalks and the above-ground stormwater management are to be constructed as part of the project, and the practice surface shall be a green design using permeable pavement. The property is located at 9,000 Gateway Campus Boulevard and known as tax parcel 857D309 in the R2 one-family zoning district. Planning Commission recommends approval of this application.
Nobody's here.
Yeah, library field.
From staff, do we have an update on,
The plan itself was okay. What they want to do is, it's the lower GUI field, the Gateway Upper Elementary field. They took the material from the baseball fields along 48 and moved it down to there. They're going to create a hard surface for the marching band to play on. So that kicked them into a land development application. So they provided a post-construction stormwater management plan and report, and it's all approved. The one outstanding comment was the There's no sidewalks on the site, so according to our ordinance, they need to put sidewalks in. They were gonna ask for some type of relief for phasing. They're not opposed to doing the sidewalks, but they were, wasn't in their budget to do sidewalks. I was kind of opposed to that, just because it makes sense to do all the construction while they're doing the construction. But if they wanted to delay the sidewalk construction, I would recommend doing all the grading, the earthwork operation, create the bench for the sidewalk, and then that way they could just come back in and pour concrete, form it and pour the concrete. So that might be an option.
Yeah, that would make more sense. I mean, that's an important area. That's one of the links as far as with our active transportation plan. That's one of the areas we really have identified that really need sidewalks. I mean, our library's there, our senior center's there, the schools are all there. There's apartment buildings around the corner where kids walk to school, into the library. So, I mean, I don't know why the school district wouldn't want to just do it now. But, I mean, I think, would council be open to maybe the suggestion of, yeah, we'll give you a little bit of wiggle room, give them a little wiggle room to, delay it a little bit.
Yeah,
But-
it's gonna require some earthwork to get
Well, do we
that.
know the front, my question, I mean, this might be, sorry, Bob, this might be mine too. So do we know I know what the distances they're talking about, but do we know the frontage that we're really talking about? How much of a hardship is it to make this happen?
600 feet?
The hardship is there's a slope involved.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's
Right.
the
I'm familiar with
asphalt
it.
road, the guide rail, and then it drops down. So they're gonna have to build up some kind of a bench to put the sidewalk in.
Have we let them know that we have a sidewalk fund, that they don't have to do the sidewalk?
I think we'd want the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But
There's nobody here to
that's-
present any of those
But
options.
they have that option.
There is a waiver, yep.
Well, we would have to waive it. I mean, that, I mean,
Sometimes.
Well,
that-
right.
correct?
I don't know if they're aware of that, that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
I think they need to come and talk to us a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Was there
Every
intention,
table.
how much were they bringing that surface up? Were they filling that?
The area in front of the admin building is pretty simple. It's right against the existing parking lot there. The problem is along the long side of the field. That's where it drops off the most. So while they have the bulldozers and backhoes there, it would make sense to do all the earthwork now. If they wanted to come back and do the concrete over the summer before classes start, I don't see a problem with that. But if they didn't at least do the earthwork first, they would have to mobilize all that equipment again, it would create a big mess. So at the very least, I would recommend them creating the bench for the sidewalk.
Mayor?
Yes.
Can we make a motion to table this and have them come speak to us next week?
Well, it doesn't have to be tabled because it's on Tuesday's agenda already. So we could ask for representation from the district to
Yeah,
come out.
they should have been, they received, or I sent them a letter about tonight's
Okay.
meeting, and they
Well-
were informed about the meeting at the planning commission meeting.
Okay, then if they don't show up next week, then we'll table it then, maybe.
That's an option.
Hey, Paul, did they raise the manhole was between second and third base, it's been buried for years?
I don't know, I can look.
I
into
didn't
that.
think so, they did, so.
I don't-
Maybe
I
you have to
don't know.
look into that.
Is it a sanitary manhole?
Yes, sir.
It's in that
From the
field.
advent, it comes from the South Junior High and down from the garage.
Now this is going to be a couple old Monroeville kids telling the story. This is not the first time that field is raised.
Yeah,
Okay.
we used to trip over that playing
And,
baseball.
I mean, this is like at least the second time that's in there, that this has been done. And I mean, this is over a
Is
number
it
of.
in the playing area? Is it like inside the field? That's probably why it's buried.
Yep.
Oh, it's right between second and third
third
base.
It's
I
all
know.
turf now. It's all artificial turf, so.
No, we're talking
But-
about where they're putting the filling, all the dirt down there.
Previous, when Joe's referencing it, the
Library field.
that field.
The library.
I
The
thought that- I've
the
only known it as
backstop
a
in the
soccer
baseball
field.
field was set up closer to what would be King Lear Drive entrance to
Yeah.
the Gateway Campus Boulevard, and into that corner facing up towards the high school. So all of that stuff was in, and again, this is not the first time that space has been raised, to do that. So, and it's, always been a question. Joe knew it from the Water Authority, and, we've been aware of it for a number of years. So hopefully they'll be here and we can talk about that with them.
I can definitely look into that. That should be an easy add.
So sidewalk.
Gotta find it first.
And if you guys want, I have a plan upstairs I can go get and and show you all this.
I'm sure they can,
It seems pretty
Wait till next
straightforward.
week.
No, we have questions.
I think
for them, so hopefully they'll be here and they can,
Oh, I'll contact them tomorrow, make sure they're here next week.
thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, council? Very good. Moving over to our motions, we have 3 this evening. Mr. Little.
Okay, the first one is a motion to place a full-page advertisement in the amount of $125 in the program for the Gateway High School musical Mamma Mia.
It's Mamma Mia this year, it's great.
Any questions on that, council?
No.
That's what we typically do, and we're happy to support the program.
Okay, the second one is a motion to authorize to advertise a public hearing for the revised update to the zoning ordinance. This is what we were just talking about with Glenn, the gentleman that was just up here before. This would not be until April 4th, as Mr. Wilden just mentioned, because County Planning Commission has 45 days under the Municipality's Planning Code to review it, and we cannot take action until they review and get back. So that April 4th would be the date probably for that public hearing. Any other questions, council? Okay, next is a motion to approve property acquisition for the Tricog Land Bank for the property located at Willow Drive, Lot Block 640K118. Okay, Land Bank is doing a good job. And also, any questions on that, council?
No?
Okay, there's a motion that is not on the agenda that comes out of executive session. A motion that will be placed on for next Tuesday's meeting, a motion to enter into an agreement with Public Partners Consultants to conduct a municipal manager search. And council is aware of that. And that's the motions.
Very good. We have one resolution this evening. Mr. Little.
Okay, resolution to adopt the Campbell Sewage Planning Module.
We get an explanation on that? Oh, welcome. If you folks could just state your names for the record.
Bill Campbell and Barbara Campbell.
203 Townsend Drive.
That's fine.
We're in the Moya Business Park, and we're proposing to install a new sewage line exiting our building, running along Townsend Drive, crossing Dexter Drive, into the existing sewage system in the plan, in the business plan. We have our sewage planning module filled out.
It's all, yeah, it's
and
been
approved and
completed by,
everything.
Mr. Story helped me complete it. It went to his engineering firm.
That the municipal authority.
Yes, sir. It was approved by Alcoasand, and it was approved by Allegheny County.
I guess we're the last ones. That's perfectly
And
fine.
we need your
We
signature
need
to
the
tap
blessing of
in.
council. That's perfectly fine. That's exactly right. We have municipal authority, Alcoasand, and the county, and then it's just for council to, pretty much rubber stamp it if you would. And council, any questions?
All been approved, what are we gonna ask?
Very good. We'll vote on it on Tuesday.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, folks, good luck.
Council, moving over to our ordinances. One that we'll consider on Tuesday that is actually, was tabled after the January meeting, so it is currently tabled. Mr. Ratcher.
An ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, prohibiting the feeding of wild animals and providing penalties for violation of such regulations. And as you mentioned, it's on the table, and it'll be council's decision whether to remove it from the table and act on it or leave it on the table.
Yeah, and council, I'll just make the comment, I know we had part of the reason why we tabled this in January, we had a little bit of feedback. And one of the things, if we decide to act on it on Tuesday, so like Mr. Ratcher said, our options are to leave it tabled and come back to it at a later date. We can take it off the table, we can vote in the affirmative, or we can vote in the negative and deny it. But if council is going to consider this, what I would recommend is we remove the feral cat language out of it. That wasn't the initial intent of the ordinance, and some of the comments that we got regarding feral cats, that there was maybe some better ways to deal with them, and even speaking with the animal control officer, there were some better ways of doing that. So that's just my suggestion at this point. However, it would be your prerogative to act on this or decide to act on this on Tuesday. Any questions or comments? Very good. Moving over to reports of municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, the floor is yours.
I have an item for you tonight.
Please.
Chief Cole and myself have been negotiating with Verizon Wireless. They're interested in leasing a small portion of property, about 100 by 100, up at the Public Safety Training Center for the purpose of putting a cell tower up there to complete their communications network. And we've completed those negotiations. We'll probably have the final draft lease for council in probably in about a week or so. But the first step, pursuant to the Home Rule Charter, anytime we do a lease or other interest of property, requires an ordinance. So what I'm asking for tonight is council's approval, authorization to advertise for the ordinance for this, this lease, to be acted on Tuesday, or next Tuesday night. So this is just a preliminary step to get the advertisement out there.
Very good. Get it on the agenda. Yeah.
Question, if they lease 100 by 100 property, can we use that 100 by 100 property for any kind of storage or anything?
No.
So
no.
it'll be fenced off 100
Yeah, they
by
fence
100?
it off, and actually, that would be in violation of Federal
Okay.
Communication Commission.
It's just a tower.
Yeah, it's, yeah, it's about 10,000 square feet, about a quarter acre.
Any other questions, council? Mr. Ratcher, anything else this evening?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Little,
I have nothing.
you feeling okay?
I was
Under
waiting,
driver's
I was waiting for somebody to say something. make
Mr.
some kind of
Hugus.
wisecrack.
Anything this evening?
Tim drug me into this one.
Yes, you have plenty of, we'll leave plenty of time for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. So my last meeting with Tim, we were discussing the road resurfacing program, and we're in the midst of developing that, and the dollar amount came up in the subject matter of if it was 1.5 million or 2 million. And he told me to bring it up at tonight's meeting. So I am.
And Paul said, well, Tim, he says, if it's going to be 2 million, the road program is going to be drastically different than if it's 1.5 million. And I know council has discussed this in conversations with each other, obviously separately, one-on-one. And I just wanted to get council's flavor on, give Paul direction on how he should put the road program together on the amount of money he has to spend. Now, if we do take an extra 100,000, 500,000, 2 million extra, whatever you want, that will be deducted from the transfer that we are going to go to the capital. I have in the budget a $5 million transfer for the capital. So that's going to be deducted from the capital, and hopefully next Tuesday I'll have a kind of final rough draft, I guess, a final draft, I guess is the way to put it, right, Josie?
Yeah.
Final draft of the capital improvement program, so we can get moving on that, on how you would like to proceed with that. But that's,
And how we approach it is very different if it's at 1.5 or 2 million.
correct. So-
Yeah, and we have this conversation almost every year about this time as far as
Yes.
trying to maybe put more money towards it, because it's obviously it's something that we need to do. It's, to stay ahead of our infrastructure. We have 200 miles of roads approximately.
I'm sorry?
About 200 miles of roads.
No, we have 110 miles of roads and 34 parking lots, which convert into about 7 miles equivalency.
So a lot of asphalt
We have a lot.
to tend to.
That's correct. And we're still behind the curve from the past years.
If
Okay.
I may,
Counsel,
Mayor,
yes.
last budget, this council unanimously decided to instruct the manager to increase the budget for asphalt from 1.5 to 2 million. We again did that this year in this budget in a meeting and instructed the manager to change that from 1.5 to 2 million. This council unanimously decided to do that. We feel that roads are very important in this community, and we want them to be very good. We know there's a process, and we know there's different applications in that process, but we feel that we need to continue to to fund that at that rate for now.
I agree with Mr. Stevenson. If anyone else, just what I'd like to hear from the rest of council as far as the direction. I think getting it to $2 million is
We
good.
already did it.
Mr. Little, is that
We
a,
already did it.
Yeah.
well, would that have to be in the budget transfers for Tuesday, or not
No,
necessarily?
not yet, no, not yet, no. Let's see what, let's
So at least
see
we'll
what the
give
bids-
Mr. Hugis's department direction, so you can start constructing the program at a $2 million mark, and then, as we talk about this every year, every road, every municipal road, every Monroeville road is evaluated. That's not including the county roads or the state roads, we do have a few of those, and the parking lots. They all get evaluated by the PASER program, so every road is given an objective number that we come up with, and they're all ranked. And then from there, we decide, or the department decides, okay, we're gonna deal with maybe 3s and under, 4s and under. And certainly, having the right amount of money in there allows the program.
Yeah,
to
the problem in
move
the
the right
past
way.
is that we developed it around 1.5 million, and then when we come to you after the bid opening and you go, okay, we're gonna add 500,000, well, it's very hard to backtrack at that point, because there's a lot of decisions we can make now instead of when we're through the program already. It's
Exactly.
easier for us.
And the current, to mill and pave, 1 mile of road now is
Last year, 1 mile was $310,000 to mill and pave,
for 1 mile.
1 mile.
And not every road gets that. And I think people have a lot of questions as we go through the paving program,
Correct.
what gets paved, what doesn't, why it does, why it doesn't, and a lot of it has to do with
And
money.
there's a
and age.
progression we go through from its an infancy of milling and paving to fog sealing it, to crack sealing it, to patch repairs, the chip seal, and then eventually to mill and pave it again. We like to try to get 15 years out of a life. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. If it depends if it's a highly traveled road or if it's a smaller road. But it balances out in the end most of the time.
Understood.
And again, we've been explaining it for quite some time, to continue to do that. You need the direction to do it, and actually, it's a great idea, Paul, to get started. I think I understand better now from it. And folks need to understand that process, too. I mean, we get a lot of questions on how that's done. People don't understand. You put some science to it. We do a little math, and you guys go out and do the rating on it, too. So
Yeah, I mean, our road preservation program, we've shared it with a lot of different municipalities, and it's become one of the standards out there of how we approach the whole program. Because when we develop even that 2 million, that goes into the crack sealing materials. Now, we do it internally, but that's part of the program is the cost of crack sealing, which is about $15,000 to $17,000. The material to fix the roads before they get to certain levels. That's part of the program. So it's just not purely milling and paving for 2 million. It's the whole program in totality.
it's one of the essential things we provide.
Yeah.
We should do it as good as we can, by all means.
Absolutely. Any other questions or comments, council? Mr. Hugus, anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Great job.
Thank you.
Ms. Rock, anything this
Don't have
evening?
anything tonight.
Thank you. And moving to our reports of council members, Mr.
I have
Tisney.
none, Mayor.
Mr. Poach.
Only thing I can mention at the moment, too, is, our thoughts go out to our folks, friends in McKeesport that lost their police officer, in the line of duty. It's turning into a terribly dangerous business, and has been for some time, and it just has the context that it seems to be getting worse, too. So our thoughts are our folks out there, and that's enough for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Stevenson.
I have one short item. I just want to express my frustration over that furry groundhog in Punxsutawney. I don't believe he saw a shadow, but they say he did.
Actually, I was there. I saw it in person. My daughter and I
no,
went
you
up.
didn't.
Then-
Did you?
We were,
hometown.
we were there.
Yeah,
Oh, my
We were
gosh.
there.
He had a
and
flashlight.
and that's all I have.
Grandma was with us,
Thank you.
too. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Williams.
I just, hearts and prayers go out to Mike Adams' wife, Rhonda, and just a speedy healing. She had surgery today, and just the speedy recovery. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Biondo.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Eric's point about our thoughts are with everyone out in McKeesport. I'd also point out on that along those same lines, a couple, Penn Hill's hired a few, I think 10 officers. A couple of them are Monroeville residents. I just want to offer my congratulations to those two gentlemen. That's all I have.
One last thing, Mayor, before you do
Yeah,
this.
please.
You know what, tonight was the State of the Union address, and after watching what Municipal TV's been doing, their ad, I bet you we outperformed them on the Nielsen ratings tonight. Outperformed those guys too. So well done to,
It's
that was a
playing
good
basketball right now,
commercial
too.
too, yeah, so.
Kudos to Jared.
Way to go, Jared, yeah. We forget to tell these guys that, but that was really good.
Very good. And with that, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.